Hello, good afternoon from London. I will be your host today on behalf of BWBS Education Consultants. My name is Bashir Ahmed. I'm one of the directors of the company. Today, I have the pleasure of having Mr. Morgan Edwards from Bangor University. He is the regional manager for South Asia at Bangor University. Morgan, do you want to say hello to the audience?
Yeah, thanks, Bashir. Hi, everybody. This is Morgan from Bangor University, Regional Manager for South Asia. Hope to give you a really good overview today of what Bangor University has to offer you guys, and that you'll consider us for January 2021 or perhaps September 2021 and beyond.
Fantastic. What we're going to cover today, let me just give you an overview. So we will cover a lot of things such as the January 2021 course offerings from Bangor University, important deadlines, application processing time, English language requirement, academic entry requirement, what they are accepting in terms of medium of instruction from India. We also will cover other regions such as Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. We'll also talk about scholarships and COVID-19 update. So this will be the overview of the session and what we're going to cover. Now, talking about our agency, we are BWBS Education Consultants, one of the leading education representative agencies here in the UK. Our office, head office, is based in London, and we have global branches worldwide, including South Asia, Africa, and Southeast Asia. In India, we have 4 branches, one in Mumbai, one in Hyderabad, one in Gujarat, and one in Haryana. In Pakistan, we have our branch office in Lahore, and in Nepal, we have a branch office in Kathmandu. In Sri Lanka, we have a branch in Colombo. In Bangladesh, we have 2 branches, one in Dhaka and one in Sylhet. Apart from our branches in South Asia, we also have presence in Africa. We have 1 branch in Ghana and 1 branch in Nigeria. We also have a branch in Philippines in Southeast Asia. In terms of the services we offer, we cover one-to-one counseling for students, admissions counseling, I mean. We help students with scholarships, their fast-track application processing, quick offer letters. We also arrange internal English tests with our partner universities. We help the students with SOP writing to provide them the guidance. We also help them with visa application and credibility interview preparation guidance and accommodation plus airport pickup. So these are our services. We have many partner universities in the UK, and one of them is Bangor University. Now, I would request Morgan to talk about Bangor University and what they have in offering for January 2021 intake and beyond. So off you go, Morgan.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that introduction, Bashir. You know, obviously, as he said there, we've had a very good relationship working with BWBS, and they've obviously got a fantastically comprehensive offering for you guys as international students coming to the UK. So we're very proud to work with them, and I'm very glad to be able to share some of the information about Bangor University with you today. I'm just going to share a presentation with you guys. Just bear with me a second while I get it open. Where are we? Entire screen. Okay. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to get it on. Can you see that there, Bashir?
Yes, we can see it.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to work through this presentation, and there will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So if your questions aren't answered, then please do write your questions on the chat box, and we'll make sure that we get to them later. If we finish the presentation and you forgot to ask any questions, or you'd like to ask me some more in the future, then here are my contact details. And please do feel free to get in touch via WhatsApp. You can see my mobile number there, which is also my WhatsApp, and my email address. I'm always happy to speak to you that way. So I think the first kind of question for you guys, or the first kind of point I would like to make is, would you like to be in this kind of environment? And I'm sure that you'll recognize this as a very busy, crowded London. In non-COVID times, this is definitely not a recent picture. Or would you like to be in this kind of environment? Now, one of the key selling points about Bangor, one of the main things about us as a university is our fantastic location. I like to say if there was a ranking for university location, Bangor would be #1 every single year without competition. This photo was taken about 10 minutes away from the main university building. It's an absolutely stunning location next to one of the UK's most beautiful national parks, Snowdonia National Park, and located on the North Wales coastline next to the Irish Sea. A beautiful place to live, and I'm very proud to be local and from this part of the world. If I only had 5 minutes today to speak to you guys rather than 45 minutes or an hour like we're going to run on for, if I only had 5 minutes, and so I was wanting you to remember 3 things about Bangor University, why you should choose Bangor University, these would be the 3 reasons. The first is that we're a very, very cost-effective university. Last year, we were voted as the #1 cheapest place to live for students in the entire UK. Our tuition fees are very, very competitive when you look at some other universities, and we have really great scholarships of up to 50% off, and I'll talk about them in more detail later. All of these things together mean that we can deliver quality education for less. The second thing to remember about Bangor University is that we're very competitive, both in the UK and globally, in subjects that matter. What do I mean by subjects that matter? Don't they all matter? Yes, they do. But maybe some are more important than others in today's world and in the future. For example, the School of Psychology does some really fantastic research around mental health, mental well-being, and mindfulness. And obviously, during COVID-19, with everybody being locked up and feeling quite stressed, this has become more important than ever before. Environmental sciences and ocean sciences, obviously the issue of climate change and sustainability, global warming, these problems are not going away, and they're going to continue to be issues for the whole world moving forward. And our environmental sciences departments are very, very strong in these areas. And then also places like banking, modern languages, electronic engineering, so research around 5G, smart cities, nanotechnology and microfabrication of computer chips. So everything that goes into your mobile phone or your computers, for example. These are really important areas, and Bangor is very strong in them. And then finally, location, location, location. I've already mentioned this, but it's a common theme throughout the presentation. Bangor's location is absolutely fantastic, and studying is obviously one part of it, but what you do outside of studying is also equally important. And Bangor's location is one of the best in the world for having that positive impact from the environment around you. Some more kind of rankings here. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just touch on some of the main ones. So Bangor University is ranked TEF Gold or TEF Gold rated, which is the highest level of teaching quality you can get. Not every university in the UK has this ranking. So that's something really important to consider. You can see there again, lowest cost of living, best university for clubs and societies in 2019, which again shows you how much of an exciting, sociable place Bangor is for our students. Best student accommodation in 2018. This next one is very important. So for the last 4 years in a row, Bangor University has been a top 15 university for overall student satisfaction. Now that rates things like your accommodation, satisfaction with your courses, the teachers, facilities, location, all of these things. And there's over 100 universities in the UK, and Bangor's been top 15 4 years in a row for overall satisfaction. I think that says a lot about the kind of university that we are. Even though we're quite a small university.
Sorry,
yeah.
Are you able to full screen the slideshow?
Sorry.
Can you make it full screen? The
full screen. Okay.
Yeah, I think it will be clearer and bigger.
Yeah. Is that helpful?
That would be better. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So even though Bangor University is a relatively small university compared to somewhere like London or Birmingham or Manchester, we have a really international student body. So there's over 120 countries represented in Bangor University, and you can see here countries like Austria, Bangladesh, China, India, Japan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Spain, the US. That means that we have a very global and international campus, And when you study overseas, it's really important that you have that exposure to different cultures, different ways of thinking, because you're all going to be global citizens. You're working in a world that is more connected than ever before. So it's really important you have that, interaction with people from different backgrounds, and you're going to get that at Bangor University. You can see here a list of all the subject areas that we offer at Bangor University, and you can see all the major ones that students from South Asia consider. So business and MBA, computer science, electronic engineering, law, psychology. But we also have some more kind of specific and newer areas which South Asian students are looking at. So biological and biomedical sciences, for example, education, environmental sciences, forestry, nursing, sports sciences. So Bangor does offer all the kind of main subject areas that you would want, and we can definitely cater to what you're looking for. So I know we're probably going to have students from lots of different countries on the line today, and I think I'm just going to run through very quickly the general entry requirements for our countries in South Asia. What I would recommend that you do is, if you're from this country, so for example, India, the best thing would be to take a picture with your phone or a screenshot if you're on the computer. But do remember that all the entry requirements are available on our website, which is www.bangor.ac.uk. You can find all the information there. And again, these are just general entry requirements. Some courses might have higher entry requirements. So I'm not going to read through them all in detail. I'm just going to, slowly work through them. These are the general entry requirements for Pakistan. You can see undergraduate level and postgraduate level. In Pakistan, we require students to provide English certificate. We don't accept an MOI in Pakistan. Actually, the only country in South Asia we accept MOI is India at the moment, but hopefully that will change in the future. Right. Entry requirements here for Bangladesh. Again, we would require an English certificate such as IELTS or Duolingo for students in Bangladesh. Obviously, in some countries right now, the IELTS test centers are still closed because of COVID-19. So if you do need to provide IELTS, probably the easiest thing to do is Duolingo, because you can do that online in your own home. It takes 1 hour. It's very cheap to do, so it's a good option for you. And you can still get your visa with the Duolingo. Don't worry about that. Entry requirements here for Nepal. Same English requirements as the other countries, obviously just slightly different with the academic requirements there. I think generally speaking, for most of the countries, the entry requirements, master's level, postgraduate level is around 50%, 55% in your previous bachelor's degree. And then finally here, entry requirements for Sri Lanka. Again, guys, if you would like to see this in more detail, please visit our website, which is www.bangor.ac.uk. So tuition fees. Now, obviously, tuition fees depend on which course you're going to study, but I just want to give you guys a general idea of the overall cost of our courses. So undergraduate degree, fees range from £14,500 to £16,800 per year. And of course, you need to remember that with an undergraduate course, you'll be paying for 3 years. So you need to times that by 3. Our postgraduate fees start from £14,500 right up to £20,000 for some very high-tech and specialist courses. For example, the MSc Genomics and Precision Medicine course, which is a very high-tech, high-level degree. In terms of the documents that you need to apply, these are generally the minimum that you will need. So your degree certificates or your school certificates and the mark sheets, 2 reference letters, a personal statement, a CV and a resume, or sorry, a CV or a resume. It's the, if you're using, depends which word you prefer. Proof of your English ability and a copy of your passport. Now, just to say maybe a few quick things on what you guys can do to make sure your application gets processed quickly. Application processing times can range from sort of 3 working days to 2 weeks. And that's in very busy periods. Now, to make sure that your application gets processed quickly, I'm going to give you some advice. Number one, make sure that all of your documents are there. If you're missing 1 or 2 documents, then it's going to take longer because the admissions team are going to have to email you to tell you, we need this, and then you have to get it. So that makes the process longer. The second thing to do is to apply in good time. So it means applying, typically we suggest students apply about 2 or 3 months before their course starts. So for example, if your course starts in January, really you need to be applying, now, basically, the end of October, the beginning of November. So get your application in early. The third thing, make sure that your documents are specific to Bangor and specific to this course. Please don't write in your personal statements, I really want to study at Birmingham. I really want to study at Manchester, because, that's not going to go down very well. You're going to have to rewrite your personal statement. So those are my top 3 tips to make sure that you get your application processed quickly. Living costs. So as I mentioned at the beginning, Bangor last year was the was the cheapest place to live in the UK for students. And I still think this year we're top 3, top 5 for that. So it's definitely one of the cheaper places to live. It's very difficult to give you an exact number for how much your living costs are going to be, because obviously everybody lives a very different lifestyle. But I would say on average, a student from South Asia would spend about £8,000 per year for their living costs, which is much lower than the recommended living costs that the UKVI suggests. It'd be about £740 to £800 a month in Bangor. UKVI suggests 1,023. So, that's £200 already cheaper than the UK average. Scholarships. So, obviously Bangor is one of the cheaper places to study anyway, but especially when you consider the scholarships that we provide our students, it's an incredibly attractive place to come if money is an issue for you. We give out over £1 million worth of scholarships every single year. And students from South Asia are a big recipient of this, and I'm going to tell you how you can get a scholarship. So these are the 4 main scholarships that you will be considered for when you want to study at Bangor University. The first scholarship is our Vice Chancellor Scholarship. Now, this is our headline scholarship. It's our main scholarship, and it's 50% off tuition fees. If you remember the tuition fee slide I showed you, let's go for £17,000, okay, for a 1-year MBA. That's how much the MBA program costs at Bangor, £17,000. If you got 50% scholarship, then you would only pay, here's my maths, £8,500 for 1-year tuition fees, which is incredible. To be eligible for this scholarship, you need to be a first-class student. So you need to be scoring about 75 or 80% in your previous bachelor's degree. The way that you get this scholarship is you first apply to study at Bangor University. So BWB Solutions can help you with that application. You receive your offer letter, and then you apply separately for the scholarship. Now, there is a deadline for this scholarship, which is the end of November. So if you want to study with us in January 2021, please get your application in ASAP before the end of November so you can be considered. Again, this is only available to first-class students, so 75% and above. And then the winners will be announced around December time. You'll be told about who has won the scholarship.
Just to add something here, say for example, if sorry, the mic is 1 moment. Yeah, so the 50% scholarship, the student needs to have the offer in hand to apply for the scholarship, right? So say for example, if someone wants to have this 50% scholarship, they must have the offer in the first place. So even though the deadline is 30th of November, that is the deadline to apply for a scholarship, right? So obviously they have to apply at least 2 weeks before 30th of November, just to be in the safe side. I guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good point, Bashir. You know, if you want to be considered for this scholarship, I mean, what is it today? Today's the 6th of November. So I think if you want to be considered for this scholarship, the best thing to do would be to get your application in the next week or 2 weeks. Even if we receive your application for the scholarship on the 29th of November, that's still okay. It'll still be considered. It doesn't matter, you know, which day you submit your application for the scholarship. As long as it's before the end of November, you will definitely be considered for the scholarship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So scholarship application and the normal, you know, course application is two different things. So I would advise everyone to make the first application so you can be considered for the 50% scholarship. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, you know, realistically, if you want to be considered for this scholarship, you need to, and you haven't applied to Bangor, you must do it really this week within the next 7 days, because it's going to take time to get your offer letter, because that's what you need first. You need to have your offer letter in hand, conditional or unconditional, doesn't matter, and then you can apply for the scholarship. So you must apply for study at Bangor first before you apply to the scholarship.
So how long does it take in general to get an offer letter, just for our audience? I know, but yeah, roughly how long they're expecting to receive a decision on their application?
I mean, provided that all the documents are there, like I mentioned a few slides ago, if all the documents are there and there's no problems, the admissions team can provide an offer letter within 24 hours in some cases I have seen. But I'd say realistically, it's more like 3 to 5 working days. If there are problems, and they need to provide more documents, it can take 2 weeks. You know, it depends really on how quick the student is in providing the documents. However, if you want to apply for this scholarship and you need your application quicker, you can always email BWB Solutions, who can speak to me, and I can get your offer quicker. I can do that for you if you want to be considered. So that's always an option for you.
Great. And that's the importance of using one of the recognized agencies, because they know how to get quick decisions, because the way we submit the applications, we make sure that nothing is missing. So you get a quicker decision. But if you do not submit an application with complete documents, then, you know, it's going to go back and forth asking for documents, which delays the process. So we can certainly help all the students with that. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's a really good point from Bashir, of course. Yeah. The next scholarship there, professional experience, this is for £4,000 and it's for more experienced students, so people with managerial experience, 2 years or more of managerial experience. And again, it's the same process as above. You need to apply and get your offer letter before you can apply for the scholarship. Again, deadline for this is the end of November. If you're coming in January 2021. So it's a good opportunity if you're a more experienced student. The next 2 scholarships, they are automatic scholarships, meaning that all you need to do is apply to Bangor University to study, and you'll be automatically considered for a scholarship. You don't need to do anything else. So that's really convenient for you guys. I would say typically most students in South Asia are almost guaranteed a scholarship, a minimum of, £1,000 or £2,000, guaranteed pretty much. Obviously, for higher achieving students, that can go right up to £5,000 with the Dean Scholarship there. So our scholarships are merit-based, so we look at your previous academic performance. So obviously, we've been speaking a lot about studying and course costs and fees and stuff, the boring stuff. Well, let's move on to more interesting things. What are you going to do outside of university? Bangor University is located in North Wales, which is one of the most exciting adventure destinations in the whole world. You might have heard of a travel company called Lonely Planet. They write travel guides for every country in the world. And last year, North Wales was voted as the 3rd most exciting adventure destination in the world. I think number 1 was somewhere in New Zealand, number 2 was Canada, but number 3 is North Wales. And that means you're coming to one of the most incredible, exciting places in the world. You can see here, this is a zip line, the longest and one of the most fastest in the world. It's a really cool thing to do. We have mountains, so people can go climbing, mountain biking, kayaking, surfing at the beaches, sailing, scuba diving. There's so many things to do in North Wales outside of your studies. It's so cool. I'm very lucky to live here, and actually students from big cities like London, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, they travel to North Wales on the weekend just to do these things. So if you're in Bangor, they're going to be on your doorstep, and it means you can have an amazing time at university here.
Absolutely, and I do that as well. I have to travel to do this. Normally, I try to go every year. So, students are very lucky who are at Bangor. They don't have to travel like me and plan everything ahead. So, yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity.
Absolutely. And this is just a quick map here, just to give you guys an idea of exactly where Bangor is. I think, maybe some students are worried that, look at Bangor, it's in Northwest Wales. It's so far away from London. It's so far away from Manchester. Actually, it's really not. So Bangor has a train station, a main line, which runs direct to all of these cities. And I regularly, when there's no COVID-19, I regularly would travel to Manchester, Birmingham, and London to see my friends or to go there for a weekend. So, for example, Bangor to London is 3.5 hours on the train. It's a direct train. You don't need to change. And I think there's about 5 stations on the way. So it's extremely convenient, and it's a really nice journey. Bangor to Manchester is about 2 hours on the train. And to give you guys some context, for any students who are in India or in Mumbai, I was in Bandari West, or Andheri West, I think it's called, up in the north of the city, and I had to drive to Churchgate in the south of the city. In a car, that took me 2 hours, just sitting in traffic for 2 hours. If you're from Bangladesh, in Dhaka, I was in Gulshan, and I wanted to go to Dhanmondi. That's like a tiny distance. That took me 2 hours in a car, just sitting in traffic. So the fact that you can be in these really big cities in the same time it takes you to cross a city in a car in your home country, it's a no time at all. It means you have the best of both worlds, because you have the beautiful landscape and the cheap cost of living of Bangor, but you also have the accessibility to travel to these big cities for shopping, for entertainment, and things like that. That's not to say that Bangor doesn't have these things. There's just more choice, of course, in these bigger places. And again, this slide is just kind of emphasizing again just how exciting a place Bangor in North Wales is. You can see our beautiful golden beaches with the blue waters and the blue skies, absolutely stunning in the summer. But even on a wet, windy day, you can see on the right-hand side there, it's strangely beautiful. The cloud and the mountains there. It's a really incredibly beautiful place. And then also the bottom left picture, we have beautiful castles, history and culture all around North Wales, which are available to you guys. So it makes it much more of an interesting place to go than to go to a big, horrible, grey, busy city just with people and nothing else to do. So award-winning support. So, for many of you guys, this will be the first time that you've ever traveled internationally by yourself, and that's quite a scary thing to do. So it's really important that you have a good support network there for you. And you'll definitely have that if you come to Bangor University. We're top 10 for student support in 2018. And this team of people, they can help you with things like immigration, your visas, healthcare, finance, travel, and so many other things. And I know that our international students, they really do value this team for helping them feel safe and comfortable and welcome in Bangor. And that's a really important part of your university experience. And you should definitely pay attention to that. So there's just a few more slides here now. I'll just talk very quickly about some of our most popular schools and subject areas. I think many of you will probably be looking for business courses, particularly MBAs. Now, the unique thing about Bangor University is we have 11 different MBA programs. Most universities, they only have 2, maybe 3 MBAs, but they're very, very general. And that's not the way that business works. Business is very specific. You don't just study business and then you can go out into the world and do everything. you have to specialize. And Bangor's business school, they recognize that, and that's why we have 11 different MBAs. I'm not aware of any other university that has such a great choice, and definitely doesn't have some of these specific MBAs. So, for example, if you're interested in the finance direction, we have an MBA for that. If you're interested in law and management together, we have an MBA for that. If you're more interested in kind of systems and software technology, we have an MBA for that. And again, if you're more interested in the environment or the environmental impact of the business, or you work in a business that is focused on the environment and sustainability, we have an MBA for that. What's more, you're going to get professional qualification, professional certification as part of all of the MBAs. Now, just to be clear, you'll get your MBA degree, but you will also get an additional professional qualification. And employers, they really do value professional qualifications because it means you're working on a higher level than some other students who don't have that. So it's great that you'll get that as part of the course. Electronic engineering, Bangor University is top 25 in the UK for this school, and it's top 15 in the UK for teaching quality in this area. It's also the oldest electronics engineering department in the UK. So this means that we've been doing this kind of work longer than any other university, and we've still maintained amazing quality, which is fantastic. And you can see some of the specialist research areas that we have there. Finally, obviously it's really important to know where you might end up in the future. What kind of jobs can you get? These are some of the companies that our graduates have gone on to join. So you'll recognize them as some of the biggest, most powerful companies in the world in the industries of banking, management consulting, e-commerce, TV broadcasting, the air industry. There's so many industries that are covered. And the thing is that these companies, they have extremely high standards. So to get into them means you have to be the best of the best. The fact that our graduates have gone on to join these companies just shows you how good we are, how good the graduates are. And this could be you. You could be working for one of these companies if you come to Bangor and you work very, very hard. And that's the end of the presentation. So hopefully it was helpful for you guys. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, fantastic. We've got a lot of questions in the comment box. I can see. Let me just put this one first. Yeah, just some basic questions from myself first. So the courses you've shown on the slides, are all these courses offered in January, or there is a different way to find out which courses are offered in January? I know the answer, but I'm just asking for the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. So the kind of short answer is that not all of our courses are available in January. We have a limited number of courses available, but most of them are in the business school, particularly our master's programs, our MBA programs. So if that's an area that you're interested in, a business student at master's level, then yes, we're going to definitely have a program available for you. We do also have some courses available, for example, in law, history, in English. And we do have some undergraduate courses available, or they're pathway courses, actually. So it's with our pathway programs in the field of electronic engineering, psychology, I believe, and in the business school as well. We have some undergraduate courses, but they're all with our pathway provider, which I can maybe explain a bit later.
Great. What plans do the university have considering the COVID-19 pandemic, and how are they addressing this pandemic and the safety measures and everything?
Yeah, obviously it's a really important question, and it's one you can't escape nowadays. So basically, as you guys will know, we've just had a September intake, September 2020, which has gone really well considering everything that's going on. We have had a reduction in student numbers, but we knew that was going to happen because people were concerned. But basically, the courses are being delivered through blended learning, which means there's a mix of face-to-face and online classes. So the feedback from that has been good. It's been positive. It's been going well. If we're looking at January intake, January 2021, it's still going to be a mix of face-to-face and online classes. We just don't know how much it's going to be. If the situation continues to improve, then we will reduce the number of online classes and increase the number of face-to-face classes. But we can only do that if the COVID situation improves, and we just don't know what's going to happen. In terms of things that we've been doing to make sure the campus is safe, there's more regular deep cleaning of all the facilities on campus, including accommodation. There's one-way systems around the university. All non-essential staff are working from home. So for me, for example, I've been working from home since March, and I'm probably going to be working from home for a long time yet, because the work that I do, I don't need to be there. I can do it from home. So yeah, we're creating a safe environment. And I think for students in January, the situation's going to be better with COVID. Fingers crossed, we hope. But secondly, we've obviously learned a lot of lessons over the last couple of weeks since September about how to do things. So your experience will definitely improve anyway.
Right. One last question from myself, and we'll take on the audience question from there onwards. There has been a recent change in the immigration rules and the student route. So is there anything that you would like to point out, anything that has changed and the students need to know, any important point?
I mean, I still need to go through with my visa team about the kind of really most important changes that have affected people. But from my brief reading of the document, it's going to be a much easier application process for you guys. So it's more streamlined now, especially if you've already studied in the UK or you're already located in the UK. It's going to be much easier for you to apply. I guess the other thing would be that you have the post-study work option available, meaning that you'll be able to stay in the UK for 2 years after you graduate, which is great for you guys. And also the only other thing that I would say that comes to mind is the living costs that you'll need to show have slightly increased. So it used to be £1,015 per month. It's now £1,023. So it's only £7 increase. But that's the main thing. I need to double check with my visa team to see if there's anything a bit more specific that might affect students.
Great. Thank you for answering all the questions. For myself, I'll take on the audience questions now, and I'll show them one by one on the screen. We've got plenty of questions. I think you are able to see on the comment box as well from your side. So let's start. So first question, maximum how much scholarship I can avail? Do you accept MOI?
Okay, there's a few things here, Tasnim. So the scholarship that you can get, the scholarship amount depends on your previous academic performance. If you're a first class student, equivalent to first class in the UK, then you could get up to £5,000. If you can get that £5,000, then you can also apply for the Vice Chancellor's scholarship of 50% as well. So we'd need to know your grades and a few different things. I also don't know which country you're from. If you're from India, then you could. We accept the MOI. If you're not from India, we don't accept the MOI, unfortunately.
There was a scholarship, the Professional Experience Scholarship of 2000. So say, for example, if someone has that and they also qualify for the for one of the other scholarships, how does that work then? So you're gonna get both, or?
Yeah, so with that, that's the only scholarship that can be kind of stacked, as it were. All the other scholarships, you only get one. That's the only scholarship where it can top up your other scholarships. So say, for example, you got £2,000 international scholarship, maybe you could get £2,000 professional experience scholarship as well. So together it will be £4,000. That's the only one. All the others, you can only have one scholarship.
Yeah, for information of the audience, the Professional Experience Scholarship is £2,000, and for those who has 2+ years of managerial experience, right?
Yeah, 2+ years. It's actually up to £4,000, the professional experience. Oh. But it's 2 years plus managerial experience. It is
experience. Okay, great. Next There are lots of comments, like complimentary comments, but
That's good that people are sending compliments. That's nice.
yeah.
One of the nice places in the UK. Yeah, thanks, Sarul. Glad you had a positive, time wherever you were living in the UK. That's good to know.
How much scholarship can an undergraduate avail?
Yeah, thank you, Gagan. Again, it kind of depends on a number of factors. It depends, on your previous academic performance largely. I would say so anywhere between £2,000 and £5,000. The only difference with the undergraduate scholarship is you don't get that for every single year. So, for example, let's say you got £5,000 in your first year, you would only get up to £3,000 in second and third year, and you have to achieve 70% grades to avail that scholarship in the second and third year. If you don't get that score, you would lose the scholarship. So you have to maintain a good level in your studies.
Yeah, great, thank you. Next question. How long does it take for the unconditional offer letter to reach?
Right, it's how long is a piece of string, Harminder? It kind of depends on a lot of different factors, If you provide all of your documents and there's no problems and everything is there, I would say between 3 to 5 working days. If there are other issues, so for example, we need more reference letters, or you need to make changes to your statement of purpose, your personal statement, then it can be longer. It can take much longer. So if you do all you can, I would say 3 to 5 working days. Maybe a little bit longer right now because we're going into a very busy period. But as I said to Bashir and the rest of the team earlier, if you're waiting and you're just, you need your unconditional offer letter ASAP, you can contact me and I can chase that for you.
Great. We're getting flooded with comments, so need to move on. Sarul Chowdhury Sakil, do students get scholarship for second and third year of their course? I think we covered this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so not the same scholarship on the second and third year, but obviously there is scholarship on the second and third year. First year is 5,000, second and third year is up to 3,000, but you have to get 70% marks, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. How to apply for scholarship?
So it kind of depends which scholarship you're going for, Pan. If you're going for the Dean's Scholarship and the International Scholarship, all you need to do is apply to the university. You do nothing else. If you're a higher class student, so your first class grades, or you're somebody with 2 years plus professional experience, you need to apply to the university, get your offer letter, and then apply separately for those 2 scholarships. Maybe the best thing to do, I can share a link to our scholarships page, and then students can check it out in their own time to understand a bit more.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, we can help the students with that as well. Any scholarship query, feel free to reach out to us, and then we will advise you further on the scholarship procedure. One of the representative agencies of Bangor. Next question from the same person. How many students are being offered 50% scholarship? So is there a limit? That's what.
Good question, Pan. So we have, I believe it's between 30 and 50 Vice Chancellor scholarships across the university. So each department, they have like a pot of Vice Chancellor scholarships that they can give out. So for example, maybe the law school has 5, the business school has 10, psychology school has 10. It's kind of split like that across the university. So, it's a good chance that you can get one. You just need to get your application in, submit a strong application, and you've got a really good chance, I say.
Great. Rajveer Singh, is Duolingo acceptable for January intake?
Hi, Rajveer. Yes, Duolingo is absolutely acceptable for January intake. We brought Duolingo on because it means we can be more flexible with our, English requirements and stuff, because IELTS centers were closed because of COVID. So Duolingo is a really fantastic, help to students and us. as a university. So we're going to carry that on moving forward, most probably. So yes, absolutely, Duolingo is acceptable. If your course needs IELTS 6.0, you would need Duolingo 105 for that. If it's 6.5, you would need 115 in Duolingo. So yes, we would.
Is there any individual component score requirements? So overall,
yeah, I think the minimum is 90, 85 or 90 in each of the components. So for example, if you were 105 overall, you'd have to have 85 or 90 plus in each of your components. I need to double check the exact number, but it's 85 or 90, I believe.
Great. Yeah, and I think it's also available on there is a comparison on the Duolingo website as well. Students can check that as well. It compares the IELTS equivalency with the Duolingo score.
Sure.
Yeah. Next question. Does the university have a postdoctoral program?
If postdoctoral means PhD, then yes, we do in different fields. I'm not sure what field you're interested in, but accounting, business, biological sciences, music, psychology, most of law, most areas do have a PhD program available.
PhD is available in January as well, or is it just September?
Yeah, PhDs are available anytime throughout the year. So our intakes are September and January, but PhDs can apply anytime, and the same for an MPhil as well, can be anytime.
But entry points are January and September.
For undergraduate and postgraduate courses, yes.
Yeah, okay. Next question. I've just finished my studies for BA Honours Business Studies. Would it be possible to gain admission for Masters in Business Law?
Hi, Chris. Yes, absolutely. I think that would be no problem. You've got a background in business and you'd like to move into, kind of a more specialist area, business law, commercial law, maybe. I don't see a problem with that as long as you submit, a good personal statement explaining why. That should be no problem whatsoever.
Great. Thank you. Gurpal Singh, do you have classroom lectures or online classes because of COVID? Yeah, we covered this before, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good question, Gurpal. I know it's a concern. At the moment, we have a mix of face-to-face and online classes. Hopefully in January, there'll be more face-to-face and there'll be less online classes. We just have to keep our eye on the situation.
Right. Does the university have accommodation for students, especially those with disabilities?
Hi, Okiki. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Yes, we do have accommodation for students with disabilities. We can definitely cater for you. We have a very good disability services team. So basically throughout your application process, if you just let us know, that you would like some support or you'd like accommodation specifically to kind of suit your needs, just let us know and we can definitely arrange that for you. We'd be more than happy to welcome you to Bangor.
Great, thank you. Next question, what about English language requirement except IELTS? What other question is that? Which other qualifications are accepted?
Okay, so we accept quite a broad range of qualifications now. So IELTS obviously is the main one. IELTS Indicator, which is essentially IELTS Online. Duolingo is obviously the other main one. But then we have things like the Pearson test, Trinity Education test, what was the other one? TOEFL, IBT. There is a full list of those available on a website, so you can check them out. But I would say that Duolingo is probably the best and most convenient option for you, just because it's so quick, it's cheap, it's convenient to do, but it's treated exactly the same as IELTS. So yeah.
Just a follow-up question. Does Bangor offer any internal English language test, Bangor's own test?
Yeah, so we do have the Bangor University English language test, but unfortunately we haven't been able to put that online at the moment. That was a plan to do that with COVID-19, but things didn't play out that way. In the future, we might have the opportunity to put that online, but I think there's so many options now for students' online courses that it might not be beneficial to do that. But we do have that option physically. Just we'll have to see what happens there.
But no online at the moment.
Not at the moment, no.
Right. Is the university offering PhD? We covered this before.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 entry points, January and September, but applications can be made anytime throughout the
Well,
year.
sorry, Bashir. They can apply anytime and they can study anytime. It's not
Oh,
like they have to come in September or January. They can come anytime to start their studies at PhD.
right. I wasn't aware of that. So what does that mean? There's no specific entry points for PGR.
No. For PGR, maybe for like a master's in research, but for PhD and MPhil, for example, we had a student starting in October. We had students starting in March, in May. So there's no specific entry point for a PhD or an MPhil student.
Okay, that's a great news. Okay, right, good information. Right. Gurpal Singh, can a student take up part-time job to support his expenses?
Yes, Gopal, you can do that. The restriction on your visa means you can only work 20 hours per week. You can't work more than that during the term time. In holidays, you can work as much as you want to. There's no restriction, but whilst you're studying, you can only work 20 hours per week. And also, you should be mindful that the job market in the UK now is quite difficult because of COVID-19. So you shouldn't rely on finding a job to pay for your studies, because if you can't find one, that might put you in a very difficult financial position. So you shouldn't rely on the part-time job to pay for your studies. You should be able to pay for that all before you join the university.
Right. Does the university have any postdoctoral program, especially in psychology? Right.
Yes, we do. We do. Yes. If you want to check out our website, Bangor, www.bangor.ac.uk, we do have specific PhD programs in psychology, and the staff, the team in psychology, would be really happy to speak with you and guide you on what you could do.
Great. Next question: how much IELTS required for MSc Software Engineering?
It would be, off the top of my head, I think it would be 6.0 with no element below 5.5. Software engineering. Let me double check. Software. So yeah, I think it would be 6.0.
Right. Okay. Next question: do you need a work experience to get into MBA program?
Nope, you don't need work experience, Harminder. You could come directly from a B-Commerce or whatever else you studied at a bachelor's level. You could come straight onto the MBA. That's another really good thing about our MBA. Lots of universities, they do require minimum 2-year work experience, so it's a good option for you.
Okay, next question. I can't read actually the name because it's in Hindi, I guess. So, is UK VI IELTS mandatory to take pre-sessional English course?
So the reason why it doesn't have to be UK VI IELTS, it could be any other IELTS. We can also accept Duolingo for the pre-sessional English as well. The reason that we need that is because we need to know what level you're beginning at, right? You can't go, for example, say, I'm going to go for the 5.5 pre-sessional course, but actually your English is 4.5. So it's just to get an understanding of where you are. So yes, it kind of is mandatory. Maybe not, as I say, it doesn't have to be UK VI IELTS. It could be normal IELTS. It could be Duolingo. It could be another test, just to see what level your English is currently at.
Talking about pre-sessional, is it going to be online, or how does it work? Is it going to be joint CAS for pre-sessional, or?
Yeah, so at the moment, all the pre-sessional courses are online at the moment. Moving forward, I guess from the new year, I think they're going to start allowing students to come in person to study physically. And in that case, they would get a joint CAS letter, yes.
But that's only going to be next year. But for January intake, it's online.
Yes, for pre-sessional, not for the other courses.
Yeah.
I think so. The next pre-sessional course starts in a couple of days, actually, and I think that's online only. Do check the website for our details on that, because it does have information about which intake is online, and it gives more information there.
Good compliment. Lots of useful information.
Thank you, Gopal.
Okay. Next question, with the English requirements, do Bangor accept a variety of different English language test results to fulfill English requirement?
Yes. Yeah, I think we've kind of covered that. Lots of different tests, full list available on our website, that IELTS, Duolingo, PTE, Pearson, TOEFL, Trinity, you know, a long list. So yes, lots of different opportunities.
Same question, alternative English except IELTS. Yeah, so we've covered that. Yeah, so Duolingo and all the other acceptable ones. I will actually drop in the link down below in the comment section after this session, so you know students will know which ones are accepted. It should be on the Bangor website, but I will send this information to everyone through comment. Next question. I've done Masters in Queen Mary previously, which was a taught course with specialization in wireless networks. However, is it possible to do a research-based Masters again in the field of electronic engineering? Also, do you require IELTS UKVI or just IELTS?
So with the first part of your question, yes, I think it would be fine to do the research masters in electronic engineering, because it's a logical progression. You know, you've come from a relevant background and you're going into a relevant course. So as long as you can just explain, you know, sometimes the UKVI can be a little bit weird if you're applying for a course at the same level. So like, I think this is considered a level 7 course, master's level courses. But I think, you know, provided you explain why, there shouldn't be a problem for that. And as well, as long as you didn't kind of, how do you say, overstay, or you didn't kind of, you know, go against the conditions on your previous visa. If you left the UK when you had to, that should be fine. Do you require IELTS UKVI or just IELTS? I think either one is okay, generally speaking. And, you know, the fact that you've already done a degree in English in the UK is going to be very beneficial for you, and you shouldn't have to do IELTS again for that. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, one question I have for Bangladeshi students. In Bangladesh, we have two types of bachelor degrees, 3 years and 4 years. So for master's entry, 3 years bachelor degree required or 4 years bachelor's degree?
4 years.
4 years. 3 years we consider. I think for 3-year degree holders, they have to go through the pathway option, right?
Correct. Yeah. If it's a 3-year program, they would go through the it's called the International Incorporated Masters, and then they just do another 3 or 6 months before they start the course. So to be honest with you, I think that's a good option if students have only done 3 years, because it gives them a few extra months to get used to the UK education system, the UK culture, living in the UK. It's a good way to ease yourself into the studies.
Right. Next question, Jaydeep Balani, MOI accepted in master's level course?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna guess that Jaydeep is from India. Yes, MOI would be accepted, Jaydeep. The only thing that we would need is it has to be within 2 years of your graduation, and you also need to have 70% plus in your English 12th exams as well. If you meet that, then yes, absolutely, we can accept MOI.
Right. Rajveer saying, what is the difference between IELTS and UKVI IELTS?
So the main difference really, Rajveer, is that a UKVI IELTS just means that the IELTS course has been delivered at an institution that is recognized by UKVI. So it's slightly higher kind of demands, I believe, or, you know, very similar demands, but it's just so that the UKVI, the visa office, they recognize the IELTS. But there is a different way to do it. So, for example, if you do UKVI IELTS, that meets your English language condition for the visa. If you do, for example, Duolingo or a non-UKVI IELTS, then what happens is the university then tells UKVI, we have made an assessment and your English is okay. So yes, it's okay for the visa. So don't worry too much about that. We accept students without UKVI IELTS. We accept students with UKVI IELTS and different English exams. So don't worry about that.
Right. Okay. Next question. What is the difference between? Okay. Do other country rejection affect the student visa for UK?
So to be honest, Rajveer, it depends on what you were rejected for. Just because you have a visa rejection doesn't mean that we will not give you an offer, and it doesn't mean that you won't get a visa. For example, maybe you were rejected because you didn't have the financial requirements to support yourself in the UK. That's okay. However, if you were rejected because you gave fake documents or you lied on your visa application, then yes, you probably would be rejected again. So it kind of depends on the reason you were rejected. What I would say is you must, if you have been rejected previously, you must tell us, and you must supply proof of why you were rejected as well. So a letter from the country you were rejected for, because then we can give you the best guidance.
Okay. Next question. To add with previous questions. So he asked a previous question, obviously, Miraj Rahman. To add previous, since I have done masters taught in UK, would that be an issue with visa issuance for me while applying for a research-based masters? Is any funding available for these types of degrees?
So I think previously, Miraz, I think you were talking about a master's. Yeah, sorry, it says there research-based masters. So that would still be a one-year program. So there wouldn't be funding available per se. We would give you a scholarship. You could get student loan or self-financing. There might be some funding from your home country, but because it's only 1 year, there wouldn't be like funding opportunities like there are with a PhD or an MPhil. I think the fact that you've gone from a taught masters to a research masters is okay because it's a different style or type of degree. In my own opinion, a research masters is slightly higher than a taught masters because obviously you're doing a lot of it yourself, so it's more demanding, even though they're both considered level 7. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Again, I think it's a logical progression going from what you did previously to this course. So as long as you can explain that in your application, that shouldn't be a problem.
We will be able to help you, Miraj, with your query and application. So do get in touch with us and we'll assist you further on this. Next question, not question, is actually a suggestion. It's really helpful for the student if you can arrange internal English language tests in future. Thank you. Probably, considering the COVID-19 pandemic and the IELTS test center closures. It's something that they would probably consider, but yeah, keep an eye on Bangor website for updates. Next question. Is there any aeronautical engineering course available for masters?
Unfortunately not, Parth. We don't have aeronautical engineering available, I'm afraid. The only engineering we have is electrical engineering. We don't have like civil engineering or structural engineering, mechanical or aeronautical engineering. It's only electrical engineering, I'm afraid.
Right. So that's the end of the question and answer session. It was really, really helpful, and lots of questions have been asked. And I hope that you got all the answers and the idea about Bangor University and their entry requirements and all the specific questions you asked. So concluding remark from Morgan.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your time today. I appreciate it's been a long session, but hopefully between the presentation I gave and the Q&A session, hopefully a lot of your questions have been answered. What I would say is please do visit our website if you have any further questions, www.bangor.ac.uk for more information. And I gave you my contact details earlier, which I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you if you have any further guidance, or if you require any further guidance. I appreciate now is a really difficult and a strange time for you guys as students to make a decision to study overseas. So what I would say is that you should only do it if it's right for you. Don't kind of force yourself. Just make sure that you're comfortable with it. keep an eye on your situation in your home country, keep an eye on the situation in the UK, and most of all, stay safe, and hopefully we will see you at some point in the future.
Fantastic. If anyone wants to ask any question, our contact details are down below on the screen, so you can contact us and we'll try to help you with an answer. For Bangor University applications, we can also assist you with the application process, so do get in touch with us regarding that. Apart from that, it was a nice experience having Mr. Morgan with us today, and I hope that it has helped everyone in any way. So thank you very much, Morgan, for joining us, and I will be signing off from here, and hope to see you some other time in the future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye now.